Welcome to our video series, Conceptual Relationships of Words in the English Language. In this series, we present English vocabulary in a structured and hierarchical manner. Each video showcases a range of terms and their corresponding definitions, presented in an organized sequence from broader concepts to more specific details. The series is divided into playlists, videos, and sections, each delving into distinct aspects of the English language. To get the most out of these videos, here are some of the suggested uses. We will be using WordNet as our primary reference throughout the series. For detailed information about WordNet, please visit the official WordNet website. If you're new to our channel, we recommend starting with our introductory videos. They provide essential context for understanding our approach, purpose, and methodology. For simpler navigation, we presented an outline of the terms and relationships in one of these introductory videos. Remember to show your support by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. In this episode, we will explore states related to action, motion, and situation. This video is part of the playlist Attribute State. Attribute State playlist is one of two playlists devoted to the conceptual domain attribute. Attributes are linguistic elements that serve as modifiers to provide descriptive information about another word. They convey qualities, characteristics, or properties associated with the entities they modify, enriching the meaning and context of the expression. Section 1. In this section, we will explore readiness and illumination.
State. State.
The way something is with respect to its main attributes.
The current state of knowledge.
Readiness. Readiness.
The state of having been made ready or prepared for use or action, especially military action.
Their preparation was more than adequate.
Alert. Alert.
Condition of heightened watchfulness or preparation for action.
Bombers were put on alert during the crisis.
Air alert. Air alert.
The condition in which combat aircraft are airborne and ready for an operation.
Aircraft in the Mideast are on air alert.
Red alert. Red alert.
The highest level of alert when an attack by the enemy seems imminent, or more generally a state of alert resulting from imminent danger.
Strip alert. Strip alert.
A state of readiness for domestic defense aircraft.
The Air Force will keep fighters on strip alert at bases around the country.
Ready. Ready.
Poised for action.
Their guns were at the ready.
Illumination. Illumination.
The degree of visibility of your environment.
Dark. Dark.
Absence of light or illumination.
Blackout. Blackout.
Darkness resulting from the extinction of lights, as in a city invisible to enemy aircraft.
Night. Night.
Darkness.
It vanished into the night.
Semi-darkness. Semi-darkness.
Partial darkness.
Cloudiness. Cloudiness.
Gloomy semi-darkness caused by cloud cover.
Dimness. Dimness.
The state of being poorly illuminated.
Gloom. Gloom.
The state of partial or total darkness.
He struck a match to dispel the gloom.
Obscurity. Obscurity.
The state of being indistinct or indefinite for lack of adequate illumination.
Shade. Shade.
Relative darkness caused by light rays being intercepted by an opaque body.
There's too much shadiness to take good photographs.
Shadow. Shadow.
Shade within clear boundaries.
Penumbra. Penumbra.
The fringe region of partial shadow around an umbra.
Umbra. Umbra.
A region of complete shadow resulting from total obstruction of light.
Total darkness. Total darkness.
Total absence of light.
They fumbled around in total darkness.
Light. Light.
Having abundant light or illumination.
They played as long as it was light.
Section 2. In this section, we will explore action and motion.
Action. Action.
The state of being active.
His sphere of activity.
Agency. Agency.
The state of being in action or exerting power.
The agency of providence.
Frankenstein. Frankenstein.
An agency that escapes control and destroys its creator.
Behavior. Behavior.
The action or reaction of something, as a machine or substance, under specified circumstances.
The behavior of small particles can be studied in experiments.
Busyness. Busyness.
The state of being or appearing to be actively engaged in an activity.
They manifested all the busyness of a pack of beavers.
Eruption. Eruption.
Of volcanoes, pouring out fumes or lava, or a deposit so formed.
Operation. Operation.
The state of being in effect or being operative.
That rule is no longer in operation.
Commission. Commission.
The state of being in good working order and ready for operation.
The motor was out of commission.
Idle. Idle.
The state of an engine or other mechanism that is idling.
The car engine was running at idle.
Running. Running.
The state of being in operation.
The engine is running smoothly.
Overdrive. Overdrive.
The state of high or excessive activity or productivity or concentration.
Troops are ready to go into overdrive as soon as the signal is given.
Play. Play.
A state in which action is feasible.
Insiders said the company's stock was in play.
Swing. Swing.
A state of steady vigorous action that is characteristic of an activity.
It took time to get into the swing of things.
Motion. Motion.
A state of change.
They were in a state of steady motion.
Perpetual motion. Perpetual motion.
Motion that continues indefinitely without any external source of energy, impossible in practice because of friction.
Precession. Precession.
The motion of a spinning body, as a top, in which it wobbles so that the axis of rotation sweeps out a cone.
Shaking. Shaking.
The shaky motion.
The shaking of his fingers as he lit his pipe.
Tremolo. Tremolo.
Music, a tremulous effect produced by rapid repetition of a single tone or rapid alternation of two tones.
Tremor. Tremor.
Shaking or trembling, usually resulting from weakness or stress or disease.
Essential tremor. Essential tremor.
Tremor of unknown cause, usually of the hands and head, that develops in older people, often mistaken for Parkinsonism, but is not life-threatening, and can usually be kept under control.
Stream. Stream.
Something that resembles a flowing stream and moving continuously.
The museum had planned carefully for the flow of visitors.
Motionlessness. Motionlessness.
A state of no motion or movement.
The utter motionlessness of a marble statue.
Stationariness. Stationariness.
Remaining in place.
Rootage. Rootage.
Fix and aspire as if by roots.
Strengthened by rootage in the firm soil of faith.
Section 3. In this section, we will explore inaction.
Inaction. Inaction.
The state of being inactive.
Abeyance. Abeyance.
Temporary cessation or suspension.
Cold storage. Cold storage.
In a state of abeyance or postponement.
Deferral. Deferral.
A state of abeyance or suspended business.
Moratorium. Moratorium.
Suspension of an ongoing activity.
Stand down. Stand down.
A suspension and relaxation from an alert state or a state of readiness.
Energy. Energy.
Inactivity and lack of energy.
Arrest. Arrest.
The state of inactivity following an interruption.
The momentary stay enabled him to escape the blow.
Counter-check. Counter-check.
A check that restrains another check.
Logjam. Logjam.
Any stop page attributable to unusual activity.
The legislation ran into a logjam.
Calcification. Calcification.
An inflexible and unchanging state.
The calcification of negotiations.
Deep freeze. Deep freeze.
Temporary inactivity or suspension.
The legislation has now been revived after 10 years in the deep freeze.
Desuetude. Desuetude.
A state of inactivity or disuse.
Dormancy. Dormancy.
A state of quiet, but possibly temporary, inaction.
The volcano erupted after centuries of dormancy.
Estivation. Estivation.
Zoology, cessation or slowing of activity during the summer, especially slowing of metabolism in some animals during a hot or dry period.
Hibernation. Hibernation.
Cessation from or slowing of activity during the winter, especially slowing of metabolism in some animals.
Slumber. Slumber.
A dormant or quiescent state.
Extinction. Extinction.
No longer active, extinguished.
The extinction of the volcano.
Holding pattern. Holding pattern.
A state of inaction with no progress and no change.
You should go into a holding pattern until he gets over his disappointment.
Rest. Rest.
A state of inaction.
A body will continue in a state of rest until acted upon.
Stagnation. Stagnation.
A state of inactivity, in business or art, etc.
Economic growth of less than 1% per year is considered to be economic stagnation.
Stagnation. Stagnation.
Inactivity of liquids, being stagnant, standing still, without current or circulation.
Stasis. Stasis.
Inactivity resulting from a static balance between opposing forces. Section 4. In this section, we will explore environment.
Situation. Situation.
The general state of things, the combination of circumstances at a given time. Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Eternal truths will be neither true nor eternal, unless they have fresh meaning for every new social situation.
Environment. Environment.
The totality of surrounding conditions.
He longed for the comfortable environment of his living room.
Context. Context.
The set of facts or circumstances that surround a situation or event.
The historical context.
Conditions. Conditions.
The prevailing context that influences the performance or the outcome of a process.
There were wide variations in the conditions of observation.
Conditions. Conditions.
The set of circumstances that affects someone's welfare.
Hazardous working conditions.
Ecology. Ecology.
The environment as it relates to living organisms.
It changed the ecology of the island.
Home. Home.
An environment offering affection and security.
He grew up in a good Christian home.
Milieu. Milieu.
The environmental condition.
Setting. Setting.
The state of the environment in which a situation exists.
You can't do that in a university setting.
Canvas. Canvas.
The setting for a narrative or fictional or dramatic account.
The movie demanded a dramatic canvas of sound.
Showcase. Showcase.
A setting in which something can be displayed to best effect.
It was a showcase for democracy in Africa.
Sphere. Sphere.
A particular environment or walk of life.
It was a closed area of employment.
Distaff. Distaff.
The sphere of work by women.
Front. Front.
A sphere of activity involving effort.
The Japanese were active last week on the diplomatic front.
Kingdom. Kingdom.
A domain in which something is dominant.
The rise of the realm of cotton in the south.
Lotus Land. Lotus Land.
An idyllic realm of contentment and self-indulgence.
Lap. Lap.
An area of control or responsibility.
The job fell right in my lap.
Lap of the gods. Lap of the gods.
Beyond human control or responsibility.
There is nothing more I can do, it's in the lap of the gods now.
Political arena. Political arena.
A sphere of intense political activity.
Preserve. Preserve.
A domain that seems to be specially reserved for someone.
Medicine is no longer a male preserve.
Province. Province.
The proper sphere or extent of your activities.
It was his province to take care of himself.
Ecclesiastical province. Ecclesiastical province.
The district within the jurisdiction of an archbishop or a metropolitan or one of the territorial divisions of an ecclesiastical order.
The general of the Jesuits has several provinces under him.
street, street,
The streets of a city viewed as a depressed environment in which there is poverty and crime and prostitution and dereliction.
She tried to keep her children off the street.
Section 5. In this section, we will explore acceptance, rejection, inclusion and exclusion.
acceptance, acceptance,
The state of being acceptable and accepted.
Torn jeans received no acceptance at the country club.
acceptation, acceptation,
Acceptance is true or valid.
acquiescence, acquiescence,
Acceptance without protest.
approval, approval,
Acceptance is satisfactory.
He bought it on approval.
apro, apro,
An informal British abbreviation of approval.
He accepted it on APRO.
contentedness, contentedness,
The state of being contented with your situation in life.
They could read to their heart's content.
recognition, recognition,
The state or quality of being recognized or acknowledged.
She seems to avoid much in the way of recognition or acknowledgement of feminist work prior to her own.
vogue, vogue,
A current state of general acceptance and use.
welcome, welcome,
The state of being welcome.
Don't outstay your welcome.
exclusion, exclusion,
The state of being excluded.
banishment, banishment,
The state of being banished or ostracized, excluded from society by general consent.
The association should get rid of its elderly members not by euthanasia, of course, but by Coventry.
debarment, debarment,
The state of being debarred, excluded from enjoying certain possessions or rights or practices.
inclusion, inclusion,
The state of being included.
embrace, embrace,
The state of taking in or encircling.
An island in the embrace of the sea.
encompassment, encompassment,
Including entirely.
rejection, rejection,
The state of being rejected.
apostasy, apostasy,
The state of having rejected your religious beliefs or your political party or a cause, often in favor of opposing beliefs or causes.
disfavor, disfavor,
The state of being out of favor.
He is in disfavor with the king.
wilderness, wilderness,
Politics, a state of disfavor.
He led the Democratic Party back from the wilderness.
Excommunication. Excommunication.
The state of being excommunicated.
Reprobation. Reprobation.
Rejection by God, the state of being condemned to eternal misery in hell. Section 6. In this section, we will explore some miscellaneous states related to the word situation.
Absurd. Absurd.
A situation in which life seems irrational and meaningless. Albert Camus.
The absurd is the essential concept in the first truth.
Ball game. Ball game.
A particular situation that is radically different from the preceding situation.
HDTV looks the same, but it's really a whole new ballgame.
Challenge. Challenge.
A demanding or stimulating situation.
They reacted irrationally to the challenge of Russian power.
Childlessness. Childlessness.
The condition of being without offspring.
Complication. Complication.
A situation or condition that is complex or confused.
Her coming was a serious complication.
Crowding. Crowding.
A situation in which people or things are crowded together.
He didn't like the crowding on the beach.
Congestion. Congestion.
Excessive crowding.
Traffic congestion.
Disequilibrium. Disequilibrium.
Loss of equilibrium attributable to an unstable situation in which some forces outweigh others.
Imbalance. Imbalance.
A lack of balance or state of disequilibrium.
A hormonal imbalance.
Element. Element.
The situation in which you are happiest and most effective.
In your element.
Equilibrium. Equilibrium.
A stable situation in which forces cancel one another.
Balance. Balance.
A state of equilibrium.
Electrolyte balance. Electrolyte balance.
An equilibrium between the amounts of electrolytes, as calcium and sodium and potassium, that is essential for normal health and functioning.
Nitrogen balance. Nitrogen balance.
The balance between the amount of nitrogen taken in, to the soil or the body, and the amount given off, lost or excreted.
Tension. Tension.
The balance between and interplay of opposing elements or tendencies, especially in art or literature.
There is a tension between these approaches to understanding history.
Balance of power. Balance of power.
An equilibrium of power between nations.
Dynamic balance. Dynamic balance.
Aeronautics, the state of equilibrium in which centrifugal forces due to a rotating mass, e.g., a propeller, do not produce force in the shaft, and so vibration is reduced.
Homeostasis. Homeostasis.
Physiology, metabolic equilibrium actively maintained by several complex biological mechanisms that operate via the autonomic nervous system to offset disrupting changes.
Isostasy. Isostasy.
Geology, a general equilibrium of the forces tending to elevate or depress the Earth's crust.
Nash equilibrium. Nash equilibrium.
Game theory, a stable state of a system that involves several interacting participants in which no participant can gain by a change of strategy, as long as all the other participants remain unchanged.
Poise. Poise.
A state of being balanced in a stable equilibrium.
Thermal equilibrium. Thermal equilibrium.
A state in which all parts of a system are at the same temperature.
Goldfish bowl. Goldfish bowl.
A state of affairs in which you have no privacy.
The president lives in a goldfish bowl.
Hotbed. Hotbed.
A situation that is ideal for rapid development, especially if something bad.
It was a hotbed of ice.
INTE Stacy. INTE Stacy.
The situation of being or dying without a legally valid will.
Picture. Picture.
A situation treated as an observable object.
The religious scene in England has changed in the last century.
Prison. Prison.
A prison-like situation, a place of seeming confinement.
Size. Size.
The actual state of affairs.
She hates me, that's about the size of it.
Square one. Square one.
The situation in which you begin an endeavor and to which you return if your efforts fail.
The police are now back at square one after having arrested and released 27 men.
Status quo. Status quo.
The existing state of affairs.
Thing. Thing.
A special situation.
This thing has got to end.
End of episode. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content. In the next episode, we will present Attribution.